Hello everyone and welcome to Paleoparc Valencia. I'm your host Greyhammer and we're going to be working straight onto our parking lot and entrance area for our Paleoparc in Prehistoric Kingdom. I just want to say I've been having a blast with this game, but also, golly, I spend a lot of time, and you'll probably notice that in the time that this takes to do this video. This game's really cool. And you can go really in detailed, and I actually cut out a lot here, believe it or not. And so, I'm going to do my best. I may not talk through this whole thing, we'll see, because it is a 45-minute long video, and it's just going to be hard for me to both come up with things to say and just keep going. But, I mean, I can get into a little bit, because there is actually a good bit to talk about. So, first off, just want to say, having a blast with this game. Prehistoric Kingdom is early access, so if anything looks weird, then everything in this game is subject to change, so I want to pin my hat on it staying the same. It's just, it's a new game, or it's not a new game, it's been around for a while, but it's in early access, and I just finally got it for myself. $30 on Steam, not too bad. And I think the game is beautiful. All kinds of cool logistics things. I am doing sandbox, and yeah, kind of the basis of this zoo is the Valencia area, which, if you don't know, they have some really amazing zoos and aquariums in Valencia, and this is kind of motorcycle parking that I made. Do I think that they actually do motorcycle parking like this? I don't think so, but it could be cool. I also thought about making it as a bike rack. I just needed extra space. But I feel like it works. This is kind of the entrance area here. And the great thing about this game is you can really scale stuff. It's really nice. Every piece is rotatable, so you don't have that annoying grid pieces, but every piece can also go on the grid. So I feel like they're really challenging Planet Zoo and Jurassic World Evolution 3 with this game. And if Frontier actually does something smart and actually learns from this instead of just ignoring it, then we can actually get some really good competition between these games, which means that Planet Zoo 2 or Jurassic World Evolution 3 can be really good as possible. They have tons of pieces in this game, and it's early access. So if they can do this with the smaller team that they have, then you know that Frontier can cook up some amazing stuff. But back to our explanation of Valencia. This was me kind of toying around with a lot of the pieces. So Valencia, Spain, has amazing architects behind it. There's a great number of architects. A lot of them have very futuristic designs. So I felt like kind of recreating something like that for Paleoparc would be really cool. But you have Paleoparc, and then you have there's Bioparc Valencia and Oceanographic Peninsula. So I was like, well, that's how we'll name it. We'll call it Paleoparc. That's the basis of the name. Here I am creating like a truck gate. And yeah, so kind of trying to match the architecture, not 100% like match, but I wanted to do something pretty similar. And here I was trying to figure out, there's no wheels in the game, which is unfortunate, but I kind of found a piece that I can make work. Especially because of scaling. Scaling makes it so you can use almost any piece for any use case, which is pretty cool. And look, I can just grab this mesh, just bring it along. We're gonna create. Once you learn how to create in this game, it's really easy to. It just took me a while to kind of learn stuff. Also, the habitats in this game are amazing. So you don't have the problem with Jurassic World Evolution, where it's, I think I talked about this last video, but it's difficult to make interesting looking habitats just because it was, it just didn't do it for me with the habitat building. You can't really create a very beautiful habitat that look exactly how you want it to. This game, completely different. They add a lot of cool things, and I can't wait to show you all in the next episode exactly what sort of habitats we can make. They have also amazing backstage area pieces already in the game, which took Planet Zoo a total of, I believe, 4 years to complete. So, they're off to a great start. I'm hoping that Planet Zoo 2 will learn from this, and I think it could be really great for both games if they get that competition. Means that both games should be better. That's just my idea, at least. So, kind of create this area for this gate, and then we bring this fence. This will be kind of our warehouse, shipping, receiving area. I really like it. It's pretty simple, but I do work better on it. A lot of the stuff here is probably not going to be final. I'm probably going to have to go back and add some stuff later, but it is certainly, it will work, and I think it looks pretty good. It could look better probably, but that's just me trying to get better at, building in this game. So yeah, we're going to create a Paleoparc. I want to kind of explain how we're going to organize the park, but that will happen later. So I'm trying to think of other things. This game is getting updated by the end of the month, so next time we play probably, we will have a new version of the game, which is pretty cool. And that version of the game is really, really nice. It, in fact, will add babies to the game and amazing herding behaviors. Also, I don't know why this got recolored. It's a little weird. I still need to work on the parking lot. I've never really designed an entrance area, which is funny enough. It's actually really weird that I haven't created an entrance area. I was trying to figure out what to do here. It wasn't really, the terrain was not working for me. So I just made a sand pile because they're gonna have to pile sand somewhere. So it kind of works. I kind of also get these stanchions in. They look great. And make sure nobody hops the curb and hits anyone. So, it's, people are always crazy. So here I'm creating a shipping container area. I think we're going to do our first cut around here because I needed to work on these shipping containers, and I didn't want to show you just the gritty details of everything, but we get this container pretty nicely situated. I really like it. Unfortunately, the letters were a little difficult to work with, but the scaling is so nice. I also wanted to get the logo because, I figured we can probably do that pretty easily. I mean, and I was right, because these pieces are really, and for some odd reason, it did bug out a little bit on me here. Or, again, reminder, early access. So, I just kind of tried to match the color of the logo. Hopefully they don't come after me or anything, but it's not like I'm making money off of their stuff. I just, for content. But I think that the logo looks pretty good. It looks mostly like what they have. But I created this shipping container. I might put it on the workshop. We'll see. And then I wanted to put some waste drums. I'm kind of making waste drums very frequently. I do work in a place that produces waste drums, so it's kind of something that I'm used to doing. So I create an area here for waste, and you'll kind of see that happen here. So this would be where you would put your waste to get picked up by a shipment. It's pretty standard stuff. And then kind of have water here. You might dilute the chemicals or whatever. I'm sure they have to use very industrial cleaning equipment for all this. And you can scale all this stuff down and it looks great. Here I think I'm just kind of creating a ladder rack so you can pull that ladder off and work on some shipping crates or whatever. We will have a walkthrough at the end. And so here I'm trying to figure out what kind of construction pieces I want just hanging around. So I just kind of create this. It's pretty nice. There is an option on some stuff to have random scaling, which is incredible. I don't think I used it for the brick pieces, but I definitely used it in my habitats. Also, just these decals also being in the game from not day one, but this early in the early access process. Here I kind of create the insides of our warehouse. We're going to go kind of ham on the insides of this warehouse. I do a lot of cuts, but very cool the way you can recolor materials and stuff. I think they did this in a spectacular way. So here I wanted to create a compost pile, so you can actually collect the compost from your animals, which is pretty cool. They have a lot of cool logistics things, and I just wanted to create the small warehouse portion. But we will do some food production areas later. I'm going to get y'all to guess in this video for engagement what my first species is going to be. I'll tell you it's a grassland species, but the game does not consider it a grassland species, so that's the hint you're going to get. These warehouse pieces look really good. As someone who works in a place that has a warehouse, I can confirm that these look like they belong in a warehouse. These shelves are spectacular. I kind of colored them to shelves that I'm used to seeing, but I wanted to create these racks of shelves, and then kind of create a backstage area. So I'm going to show me creating one of these shelves, which was really easy to do. Unfortunately, we don't have any like food items, so I can't like put produce or anything in here. Probably need to. I think I thought about creating a walk-in fridge, but none of the pieces really worked for what I wanted to do. Here I create a bulletin board. It probably needs to be raised a little bit. Scale is something I don't have the angry archer, so. But yeah, now we're gonna start working on the interior here, which for me is working on the AC ducts. So kind of creating these beams that act as support struts, and then we'll just create some nice structure there, and then just create this, and then we cut the AC in. And this was kind of a struggle, but it worked pretty well because of the ability to scale things, which is something very nice. And so now we've kind of got this duct system, and we're going to create kind of the basic ducts here. And then we'll kind of bring in this. And then, yeah, we'll do an outcrop of that, and this is where all the vents will go. So this will be a controlled room temperature area, which is what you call these kinds of areas, especially if you're having things that they need to be room temperature, but they need to be somewhat controlled. You can't just keep them at room temperature that fluctuates. You need something that's a steady temperature. And that's good for keeping storage for all kinds of things, including things like the grains and stuff that would be required to feed these animals. So kind of just creating a pretty simple roof in here, and then wanting to make a overlap, because those always look good. I don't create this on our second building. And I know it's a lot to work on just a warehouse, but I think it looks spectacular. And it was pretty easy to build, relatively. I don't find as much Z-fighting in this game as I do in Planet Zoo. There is still some, so I do just kind of overlap it there. So you're just kind of seeing some of my process here. We're going to be done with the warehouse in just a little bit, so no worries about that. So I did like a colored cinder block, which I think is realistic if you want to just cut a few costs on the warehouse. So this is just me kind of getting a look at some of the stuff. I think I was showing it off to some other people as well. So I put in this habitat. I will show kind of how you put habitats in as well, but I wanted to get lighting for it. So I did cut out the original putting it in because I will update it quite a bit. So I wanted to kind of create some nice UVB lights, because even if these are birds, they do require like if you want to classify them as reptiles or if you want to classify them as birds, they still need UVB light. Both types of animals would. So UVB light is something that I want to give them. So kind of giving them these and LEDs is something that would be required for plant growth. So just kind of creating these structures and some nice lights here. Hopefully we can kind of show, yeah, me putting this in. So it has a support structure, we can hang that in, and then we're going to have a heat lamp as well. Because, I mean, if it's a bird or if it's a reptile, it's going to need it. But this is a habitat for microraptors. I think they're a pretty cool entrance animal. There's something that you'll be able to see before you even get into the park, which is something some zoos do. So I wanted to kind of make that work. Also wanted to make the murals work because they look spectacular. I kind of figured out a way I can do it pretty easily. There's a lot of great places to snap on the grid. So now that I have this piece, I can just kind of finish the backdrop here. This building will change a little bit. I don't know how much of it I show, but it's definitely something that looks good in the end. It may not now, but just kind of creating this and putting some habitats, scalable displays is amazing. So look, I can take this piece, I can rotate it, and then I can shrink it down, and it can be that little placard that you often see in those kinds of bird aviaries. I can shrink this down. I can do whatever I want in this game, and it is insane. So if you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more, go ahead and comment and let me know you want to see more, because I don't know if you can tell, but I'm excited about this game. I think it's great. So now we're going to actually start building the sort of, well, I wanted to kind of make everything look a little bit nicer, use some of the walls that I used in other places, but I realized I built it on a different grid. That's something that I'm getting used to, is the grid system in this game. The group system is a little bit trickier than I'm used to. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how to make this work. But here I was making this floor the same. I really like this floor. I don't think I really showed it too much in my previous parts, but it works pretty well for our front entrance plaza. Accessibility to the areas was something that really frustrated me. I'd like to see either staff be able to move through doors, or staff be able to move through walls like they can in Planet Zoo if there's a path or something. I don't know. So yeah, I had to delete the habitat because I wanted to build it along with the grid that everything else was on, because I made the mistake of not doing so. Here we're doing our backstage keeper area. I've got a really cool backstage area for our next species that I think will look cool, and the species after that I think is going to be even more interesting. Maybe. Not as much room in that one, but here we are kind of creating this area, and we wanted to create this mural as the backdrop. We didn't really need to do too much with this, but here I needed to create something that will be not an actual gate that they can go through, but a perceived gate. So the idea is they can go through this tunnel, and then there'll be this kind of tunnel that we're creating here that they can go to their other enclosure, which is inside of the zoo. So yeah, that's something that's really cool, I think. This was something that was a bit of a struggle, was just kind of creating this mesh structure here and then supporting it, but it wasn't too bad. But just the scaling is always amazing in this game. Having just the ability to scale that. So yeah, we created that, and now we're going to create this entrance area. And I had a few reference images for kind of styles to use, so I wanted to generally use that, but I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to use it. I think I messed it up a little bit, but at the point that I realized I messed up, I was like, this isn't working great to fix it. So, like, it looks good enough, and so I'm gonna keep it the way it is. Actually, I don't think I did mess it up. Maybe I did. I don't know. It's not messed up necessarily. It's more, it still works pretty well. So this is kind of our wall structure, and we're going to use the Planet Zoo's circle trick, which works pretty well in this game as well. In fact, maybe a little better. So here I am kind of creating this semicircle, which will be the kind of entrance, and then we just gotta remove those pillars. Unfortunately, there's no merge into a group as far as I can tell. So that was definitely something that was a little frustrating. But then I realized I can just keep it in the same group. There's no need to do all this extra stuff. I tried to even out all the circles, but it just didn't work out. And so I decided to make it more of a design feature than anything. Because it is something you see kind of in modernist architecture. So I deleted the central pillar, and here we are kind of wanting to start creating the entry plaza. This will be exactly where you are entered into the zoo. You'll see more of that in the cinematics as well. So at first, I don't know why I did that, but yeah, just kind of creating this entrance area. I think the entrance looks really cool. And then this building that it's going into is going to be very cool. It's designed very much off of a tent is the idea. And so I wanted to make it look kind of caveman-y while also being modernist, which is something I've never tried to do before. The script in this game is great. I think it could definitely use a little bit of work with just different font types. It's only got 2, and one of them I don't like at all. So this was something I wanted to do, was kind of create this Paleoparc Valencia sign, and use kind of this blue color as kind of one of the blue and the orange is one of our motifs. And then I wanted to create this, and I think that looks pretty good for a front sign. Creating the inner area, we first extended that tunnel, and then kind of got this habitat ready. So that kind of marks where we know the entrance. I did enter in these ticket booth areas, and I wanted to make sure everything was accessible. I did realize I needed to move that gate to allow them to enter this area, and that made a lot of areas accessible. We also needed to create the staff zone, and we needed a place to actually spawn in dinosaurs. So you will see that the kind of warehouse area has those now, which does make it a little bit more cluttered. But it's a pretty cool building here. I'm going to leave y'all for a bit, but I'll be right back. Hey guys, I want to apologize for the previous audio issues. My webcam mic attached instead of my microphone that I actually have that's pretty nice, so I don't know why that happened. It happens every once in a while, but I need to be more vigilant on that, so that's kind of why the audio might have been a little bit off at the beginning of this. Here I'm kind of trying to create a walk-in refrigerator, but I didn't really find just a smooth metal texture, which I felt like it was pretty necessary to kind of create this. I kind of short on the roof as well. I start trying to do an overhang, but then I give up because I realize I'm going to have to create the structure of this building. In fact, I'm not going to be here entirely for the structure of this building. I'm going to let y'all watch it in its entirety. But here we kind of just create this inner plaza. We'll definitely need some stuff to fill out in here. I've definitely filled it out as much as I feel like I can. If you have any more ideas for what I can put inside of the plazas, that would be nice to see. I think I did pretty well at it, but you know, there's always more stuff we can add. Here I'm kind of creating the structure of this. I'm going to keep talking while kind of creating this, but definitely I do improve. I do a lot of this, so I don't want you to have to suffer through all of it. So once I kind of create this area, which you can see, I'm gonna go for a little bit, give you the music and this, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. And I'll see you in just a bit. Back with the voice. So now we're back. I put in this floor with some railing, and we're going to kind of create some museum exhibits is kind of the idea. I was really toying around with these rocks and kind of how we were going to make those work. So this was kind of me working on that. I created this mammoth skull, which I felt looked pretty cool. And then I was going to try and recreate a whole T-Rex fossil, but then I was like, no, there's statues in this game, let's do something like this Edmontosaurus. So scaled that down a little bit, then kind of made an exhibit box around it so that it could look like a actual exhibit. Unfortunately, the guest can't appreciate it, so I might do something different with the exhibit, and then also created some lighting in here so when it's night that will work fine. And then I wanted to adjust it to the mammoth skull as well. And so we'll have two sections. We'll have kind of the age of man and then the age of the dinosaurs. So that's kind of the idea here. So I'll be moving that in a little bit. So we moved that there, and then here we go, putting our kind of stretched hide, and then we kind of just create a little village almost. Like, you would see something like this in a lot of different museums. So here we've got some fake artifacts that we're going to put on it, and it's going to be like actually cemented into the rock is the idea. That's why it's only partially visible. That way nobody picks it up and tries to hit other people with it. You know, people are crazy, so I kind of created a little fishing village here is the idea. Lots of nice pieces that you can really do some theming with. So I wanted to create kind of, this is what Stone Age life looked like. But there wasn't much I could do there, so I mean there was, but I kind of gave up after a little bit. And then I wanted to create kind of a terrarium of like life in the mammoth steppe maybe. I don't know, but wanted to create these plants and make like a little garden that this is what kind of the prairie might have looked like in the Pleistocene. And then over here I wanted to do something very similar, is create a jungle terrarium look of, this is what plants like the rainforest of, or the swamplands of different areas might look like. I don't know. I kind of used this moss, which this moss looks really nice, and then I used all these tropical plants that, you know, maybe there's some small lizards or something in here. Maybe there's like lemmings or something in the other one, to show species that have been around for forever. And then I wanted to create kind of a shop, and I figured I kind of wanted to do it downstairs. So I thought about this area, but then this is kind of a nice area that we can also hide the backstage areas. So just kind of creating these food stands and gift stands. I don't know how well it worked out. You'll have to let me know. I think it works pretty well, but I didn't do anything too crazy, I must admit. But I think it looks pretty interesting, and kind of make this wood colored work pretty well for us. And then yeah, we just kind of used these kind of hanging t-shirts and stuff, and then a shop counter underneath that. And then I put a sink back here for kind of the kitchen. Maybe the kitchen will be in the back, because there's not too many kitchen items. Then a bathroom here. Put in some doors just to make it look a little bit more like it makes sense. And then we're going to create this bathroom sign. We're nearing the end of this one, so I just want to again say, if you enjoy this kind of content, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out, kind of lets me gauge interest into this. I think this game is spectacular. I really enjoy it. I think given time it could be as good or better than Planet Zoo. Here we're going to create our first signs to tell us what's going to happen. And the idea behind our exhibit is you're going to go backwards in time through these different habitats, which I think is pretty cool. So here we are creating the time travel through the forest. I've definitely had some problems with the scaling on these letters, but it works alright. So we can't. Sorry, my allergies are also bothering me, so if you hear me sniffle, that's what's happening there. Yeah, really apologize for that. But yeah, time travel through the forest. We'll adjust the lettering on this. I probably should have made that through that. Now that I think about it, make that the orange color. Yeah, I'll do that later. So then we're gonna have wetlands up here. Unfortunately, it just won't scale to the same level once you click off of it. And I spelled wetlands wrong. You know, just as you do. But then scale that down. Okay. And then grab this, and we're gonna have a bunch of other. We're gonna have 4 sections to our park. So travel through the wetlands, travel through the forest, travel through the desert, and then travel through the grassland, which is where we're gonna start. So yeah, you can guess what species we create in the grasslands first, and I accidentally missed time. Oops. So now it's travel through the grasslands, but I do fix it. And now we kind of create this here, and we're going to scale that down, and I think it looks pretty good. And then we just readjust that. And then this is kind of our first section, and we're going to go straight to the cinematics in just a little bit. So I'm going to leave you here. I do believe I coughed during the cinematics. I didn't mute my audio for some reason, so I apologize for that. But I'm really excited about this, so let me know what you think. Comment what you think the next species is, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.